ask and you shall receive. So many of you have been asking me to give you a tour of the functional lab tests that I use with my clients that are struggling with infertility, so you can get an idea of what they're like. And so that's what I'm gonna do. This is the first video in a series of videos that I'm gonna be releasing one each week, where I'm gonna be giving you a tour of the different functional lab tests that I use in my functional fertility practice. So today, we're gonna start out with the food sensitivities test. Hi everyone, I am Mara Salerno, Functional Diagnostic Nutrition Practitioner of ReclaimOptimalHealth.com, where I help couples just like you resolve their infertility and get back to creating those families you so deeply desire. And before we get started, I want to invite you to download my free fertility starter kit. Okay, I just put this out and there's 4 resources in it currently. One of them is basically a food journal, and then there is a food guide to help you get your fertility food diet right for you and just get you started, get you on track. There's also a guide in there that teaches you all about the brain to adrenal to ovarian axis and that whole signaling communication that is so vital when it comes to your fertility and how stress hijacks that and what stress actually is. And then there is actually a really cool goals list that you get to fill out, and you can actually fill it out on the computer if you want, print it up, put it up throughout maybe several important places in your home or in your office, so you keep those goals at the forefront of your mind, which keeps you more accountable. So download it. You can go to my link in my bio in Instagram and you can find it there. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, if you just go down in the description box below, you can click on the link and access it there. And please, before we start, just a couple more things. Click on that subscribe link button so that you get notifications every week when I put out these really great videos. And please like the video, share the video, heart the video so that other people who need to hear this information do. And if you haven't already, come and follow me on Instagram. I am at Mara Salerno. I'm there to answer your questions, support you, hear your story, and connect with you. So please come and find me there. Okay, I know that was a lot of stuff, but I got to get to it so that I can help you guys. And let's get deep now into the food sensitivities test by popping on the computer so you can get a zoomed in perspective of this test, and I can show you what it's all about. Here we go. Here's the Vibrant Wellness Food Sensitivities test. And I love this test. I use it with all of my clients to help them remove as much inflammation as possible. And in turn, that helps to boost and improve their fertility, their chances of getting pregnant and staying pregnant and bringing their baby to full term. So in this test, it looks at both the IgA and the IgG antibodies. And this is important because a lot of food sensitivities tests will just look at the IgG antibody. And what is an antibody? An antibody is what your immune system puts off when it is triggered to a particular food. And you're probably thinking, well, why would my immune system be triggered by a food? It's because of something that's called leaky gut that most people have. And leaky gut is basically where your small intestine kind of has like these little holes in it, and food particles drop through, and that's not supposed to happen. And when that happens enough of the time, your immune system is then triggered and it begins to tag a food. And when it tags the food with a name, it's one of these antibodies that it tags it with. So that's why this is really wonderful, because your test won't miss one antibody or another. You get both in your reading, okay? Now, this is the Food Sensitivities 1 panel, which I find pretty much ample for most of my clients, but there is a Food Sensitivities 2 panel and a complete panel. And in the complete panel, they integrate the 1 and the 2 together. The 1 and the 2 each run over about 92 different foods. So the complete is a little over 180 different foods. And depending on what it is that you consume in your diet is going to dictate which test is going to be most beneficial to run. Now this first page is a summaries page where they give you these numbers so you can scale the sensitivity, and it also categorizes it by high sensitivity or moderate sensitivity. And in either case, you're going to want to remove these foods for a period of 3 to 6 months, and so that your body has time to heal, your gut can begin to reclaim itself, and then we begin to reintroduce these foods very methodically and in a process so we can gauge whether or not you're having a sensitivity to it any longer. Because those sensitivities can occur 4 to 5 to 6 days after you consume a food, and that sensitivity will look like a symptom or something coming up like that. Now we look here and we see dairy, we see fish, we see mollusks, and we see shellfish. And I'm going to pick out here codfish as an example. And in this test, what they do is they zoom in on a particular item like codfish, for example. They give you a food description. They tell you where it's commonly found. And so in this case, codfish is in fish and chips when you go to eat out. But it's also in cod liver oil, which may seem obvious to some of you, but sometimes we forget because it's a supplement and we think, oh, it's healthy. Like, why wouldn't I take that? But if you're sensitive to codfish, then you don't want to take cod liver oil. Now, codfish can also hide in some other names, and that's in this precautionary section, like blue cod, eastern freshwater cod, or even grouper. So that's why I love this test, because they give you all these really handy, detailed, in-depth notes to help you really investigate and remove these foods from all their hidden sources. There's a section on fruits and gluten-containing grains, and I want to show you an example here of cantaloupe and watermelon. And the reason is because if you're sensitive to one, you're going to be sensitive to the other regardless of what the test says, because they're in the same family. Next is gluten-free grains and legumes. We've got a meat section, a miscellaneous, and spices section. In the meat section, they cover eggs. And if you're sensitive to egg whites, you're going to still need to remove the egg yolk because it's really hard to separate the two. And I wanted to bring this up because unfortunately, when you use egg substitutes, for example, there may be eggs still hiding out in there is what we're finding. I know that seems so crazy and ridiculous, but when we are testing out these foods like Vibrant does, we are finding that people are getting egg contamination through egg substitutes. I know, it's crazy, it's absolutely ridiculous, but it happens all the time. Now, I wanted to put coffee on here too, because if you are a massive coffee drinker, you're like, ooh, I gotta have my coffee in the morning, gets me going, gets my life stirring. You know, you gotta try to remove it. Because I can't tell you how many times than not I see it on people's food sensitivities test, especially if you are a coffee drinker or even a black tea drinker. That caffeine is super irritating to your gut. And then vanilla bean I wanted to put in here because it's a little bit different in this case. So it's not just what you put in your mouth, but it's also what you put on your skin and what you breathe in. So vanilla bean is in your lotions, it's in your lip balm, it's in candles. So again, being a detective and removing these ingredients from all sources. Then there's also nuts and seeds that it covers, as well as nightshades and vegetables. So I really hope this little tour was helpful for you guys. I didn't want it to go over too long, but if you have any questions for me regarding this, I will be more than happy to answer them. Just ask me on direct message in Instagram, and I will get right back to you. So I hope this video was helpful for you all. I hope you now understand why the food sensitivities test is so useful, what to look out for in a food sensitivities test. If you end up doing this with someone else or on your own, you want to get a really good quality test. And it's really useful in zeroing in on your own unique fertility food diet, lowering your inflammation, and increasing your chances of getting and staying pregnant. So if you are ready to press the fast forward button on your infertility struggle and turn it into a fertility success story, then please click on that qualifying call link down below so we can talk about how you can have your baby, we can run this food sensitivities test as well as other functional lab tests and really dial in your journey so we can help you get closer to your baby. All right, guys, I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.